Welcome to Board Game Casual Design Diaries, a series focused on content for aspiring game designers and things I'm working on as a designer myself. Today, we're talking about 5 types or aspects of Take That. For those unfamiliar with the term Take That, essentially, this refers to when you can take an action in a game that purposely and directly impacts another player or players in a negative way. One of the most simple examples would be the draw 4 card in Uno. Take that, now you gotta draw 4 cards, haha. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of Take That in games. I tend to like games where it's more about how can I build something better than you? How can I outthink you? How can I get there faster than you? Rather than how can I punish you or hurt you in order to do so? As Rado puts it, I'm also just too much of a Care Bear. I feel bad when I do something that hurts another player, or I feel guilty to have to do it. And I'm certainly not a co-op guy. To borrow a line from the game Bucket List, I typically like games that are competitive, but not necessarily combative. Now, of course, there are always exceptions, and certainly context makes all the difference. If the whole point of the game is to dish out Take That to your opponents, and it's done in the right way, it can be great. An awesome example is something like Robot Quest Arena. This is a big battle royale skirmish game where the whole point of the game is about attacking other players to rack up points, trying to be the king of the mountain, so to speak. And because Take That is the game, it's all in good fun. But more often than not, Take That feels too mean for me, especially depending on the type. So let's talk about some of the different types or aspects of Take That in board games. Real quick, I'd like to thank Clash of Corgis for sponsoring this video. Clash of Corgis is a fun, lightweight card game, and if the vibrant artwork and whimsical characters aren't enough to draw you in, well, how about the fact that it comes with 3 unique modes of play? That's 3 games for the price of 1. To learn more about Clash of Corgis and order your own copy, be sure to check out clashofcorgis.com. Alright, back to the video. I'm going to break this into 2 different categories. Who is being affected or targeted, and what is being affected. Let's start with the who, and my absolute most hated type of Take That in this category. Player-determined Take That. Where as a player, I choose a specific other player I want to deal Take That to. For example, choose a player and move them back 5 spaces. Choose a player and take 1 card from their hand. Choose a player to lose half of their resources. This is the type of Take That which gives me the most anxiety and where I feel the most guilt-ridden. I always feel the need to verbally try to justify or soften the blow, like, sorry to do this, I've got to pick someone and you're the furthest ahead. I mean, all the way back to the days of playing Catan, I always hated rolling a 7 and having to move the robber onto someone else's space. Honestly, in some cases, I feel like this is being used as a crutch for lazy design. Rather than ensuring the game is balanced, hey, we'll just put the onus on the players to police themselves. And if they allow a runaway leader or kingmaking, hey, that's their problem, that's not the game's problem. By comparison, I much prefer when Take That is simply dealt to all other players. All other players discard their current hand. All other players take a curse token, etc. As a player, when Take That simply applies to all other players, it's a lot more anxiety-free. I might still feel bad, but at least I don't have to worry about it feeling personal. I'm not singling anyone out. Now, perhaps one of my favorite types of targeting when done right is rules-determined Take That. In particular, where everyone up front is well aware of the conditions that would make them susceptible, and where it's in a player's control whether they want to put themselves in that position. King of Tokyo is a great example where this works really well. In this game, no matter which player outside of Tokyo rolls damage, that damage is always directed at the one player who's within Tokyo. This is known up front, and a big part of the strategy is whether or not a player wants to enter Tokyo given the risk that they'll be targeted by everyone else and how long they want to stay there. It's such a clean, hey, nothing personal type of system. Another example might be rules that target the player with the most points or the player with the most of a particular resource, furthest up the track, etc., where perhaps players always need to be mindful about getting out too far ahead. Now, of course, there are also examples where rules determined take that is a lot less desirable. For example, a game where play is always directed to the player on your left, now someone might feel like they've just chosen a poor seat if they're sitting next to a particularly cruel or vindictive player, and once again it might feel unfair or personal. Okay, we've talked about the who and 3 different types from that regard. Now let's look at what can be affected by take that. The different types of ways that take that will impact the targeted player or players. And I look at this as having 2 main flavors. The first is where the impact either reduces your progression or accelerates your demise. For example, lose 1 victory point, go back 5 spaces, or lose 1 health, take 1 damage. The second is where the effect blocks your ability to take an action, or completely undermines your ability to do something in the game you are working towards. The simplest example here would be something like skip that player's turn. More frustrating examples might be something like discard half your cards, lose all of a particular resource, blocking or negating some of your special skills, etc. This is the type of take that which I personally absolutely hate and find excruciatingly punishing. I've never been one who has to win a game to have a good time. Win or lose, I'm happy if I've gotten to build something cool or at least make a few clever moves. You know, I might lose a game by 50 points, but still feel good because I was able to piece together a little engine that was generating me 5 gold on every turn. So for me, if I'm in a game where I've put together a strategy and I'm spending multiple turns to gather resources or build up my hand in order to finally make a big play on my next turn, and another player can dish out some take that which causes me to discard half my hand or my resources and completely obliterates my ability to actually do the thing I've been working towards all this time, that's a situation I find the most frustrating because it's taking away what I enjoy most. By comparison, I would much rather just lose some points or take some damage than undermine a turn or an action I've been working towards, blocking me from doing the one thing I was trying to do. Of course, these aren't the only types of take that out there, and you could probably do a deep dive into any one of these particular types and break them up into even more subcategories. But hopefully this basic categorization helps you if you're thinking about adding in take that to your own game, or maybe help you think about what types of take that you like and dislike in games. I also know that while I personally don't like a lot of take that, for other people it's exactly what they look for in games, where their favorite part of a game is crushing their opponents and breaking their spirits. I'd love to hear where you stand on take that down in the comments. What type do you like the most? What type do you like the least? Thank you so much for watching. If you've got time, maybe check out another video on the channel since it really helps me with the algorithm. Of course, thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video here on Board Game Casual.